You're watching New Car Spin. I'm your host, Brian, and today we're going to go on a road trip. I think we're going to take that Lexus right there. This is the 2019 LC500h, and I'm going to take it to Austin. Lexus kindly provided me this vehicle for the 4th of July week, and, well, just show you it's mine, I'll open it up. At least mine for the week. Boom, there we go, there's my stuff. Got my gimbal case, got my travel bag, and then my laptop bag, which funny enough is a bag from Lexus from an event I was at. No relationship to Lexus, and they don't pay me to do car reviews, by the way, so keep that in mind when you watch this video. I did notice an immediate problem with the LC500, and that is closing the trunk. It doesn't have a soft close, and I wasn't paying attention, and I closed it like this, and I pinched my fingers because it is a heavy trunk. Despite the fact that it is a composite material, this actually has a wing built into it. This has right here this automatic wing that pops up, and you can control it inside, but I kind of got caught off guard using this handle to close it, and it doesn't soft close, so you can't really get your fingers in there to close it properly. So yeah, beyond that, it looks amazing, doesn't it? Frickin' A. It's awesome. The best part though is on the inside. To do that we have to unlock it, get in, and there we are. This baseball glove color interior. I don't have the specs. You'll see carbon fiber door sill, which also means there's a carbon fiber roof. And even though the car is already composite, even more carbon fiber up top makes it just a little lighter. Now getting in here, I sit nice and low, and I feel very, very, very comfortable in here, and I think it's because of this interior color. Let me close this door. Now when I start vehicles, sometimes the airbag stuff ends up getting the cameras out of sync. So let me just start this up, even though this is a hybrid. It's on. Look at that. So I've actually driven a car like this, the LC500h, not this color. I drove it. Of course, yeah, the stereo is awesome in here. I'll get to that later. What do I want to talk about? Well, this is going to be a long video. I'm going to have several videos. I'm going to do a multi-part series on it. But this being the hybrid version, the first thing you'll notice is the engine is not on. So if you're going to like try and rev the engine and get some sound out of it, you're not, because it's not on. And that's just the beginning of what this hybrid is like to live with. And I know the air fan is strong here, but I got to keep the AC on. It's 94 degrees outside. The AC works very well in here, and this interior is very nice to be. It's a nice place to be in. Now with the carbon fiber roof, we also have the spoiler. We have this Alcantara headliner, and let me see what else we have here. We have some options. Let me just get to that list right away. You know what I've found out is, like, driving this car around town for the other day, people thought that this car was in the like $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 range, but it's actually not in that price range at all. It is $108,000. How come my camera just does not focus? Let me see. Hit that with my nose. How about that? How about that? There we go. $108,645. And we do have options here. We have a convenience package, which is the park assist. We have the 21-inch wheels. We have heads up, limited slip diff, which funny enough is only $390. The Mark Levinson sound system, which I recommend. And then the performance package. That's the one with the Alcantara, the carbon fiber roof, the, active rear steering, carbon fiber, and we're averaging 27 in the city and 35 on the highway. Now, let me refocus here. That's the actual advantage of this vehicle. It's like an exotic or a supercar, but it's made for everyday drivability. And you can basically sneak away from the office or the mistress and no one will know. You're not going to make a lot of noise doing it. You can go through a shopping center like this and you're not going to make a lot of noise or drive a lot of attention to you when you do it. You just kind of like cut through. And that's the benefit of this on the freeway. When you're in stop and go traffic, you're not just sitting there burning away fuel. Now you can get a V8 version of this vehicle. That's actually the standard one. This is the hybrid, which is the upgraded or more expensive version of the LC. So what I'm going to do is drive this to Austin and figure out, is the hybrid worth it, or would I rather have the guttural force of the V8 that Lexus puts in this vehicle? I've driven both versions, but on a track. So I drove the hybrid one at Circuit of the Americas 2 years ago, and then I drove the V8 at Eagles Canyon Raceway 2 years ago. And yeah, I'm pretty spoiled, and this is going to be an incredible 4th of July, so I owe it to you, my subscribers. Thank you for watching and subscribing and liking my videos and leaving comments, because without you, this would have never been possible. And I appreciate the opportunity from Lexus to figure this car out and really get a good feel for it. And the only thing I can do really is share that with you, my subscribers. So I'm going to do the best I can to make you come along the ride with me. You're in this seat right here, all right? And you're with me. And we're going to figure this thing out. Is it better to have the hybrid, or do we want the V8 because of the noise and just the experience that comes with just having an engine rather than a hybrid system? So yeah, let's get started on our drive to Austin. I think to do that, let me show you some of the features. We are going to use this button here to control that speedometer, and then the tachometer moves over, everything slides over. We have trip info, and we can scroll through to the energy monitor, hybrid system, G-force meters, and we're in park right now, so we won't see the gear we're in, but rear wing position is an opportunity, and I can actually raise that here with this button, go like that, and now it's green there. And you still won't see it though in the rearview mirror. It doesn't exist, so it doesn't block visibility at all. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off because I want to keep it down. I guess I have to, there we go. Oops. I have to press it and then wait, but that's okay. And then we have Evy Mode, and that allows us to stay in electric mode through like this parking lot, and it's only available in certain situations, and that's kind of like where I don't understand this vehicle. I'm going, hey, it's a hybrid, right? So why isn't this a plug-in hybrid? Why can't I take advantage in the city if this is a supercar for the city, let's just say, if that's what it looks like to me right now. We're just getting our feet wet here. Why isn't this a plug-in so that I can park in the parking spots and take advantage of that opportunity to park in electric-only spots? Right now, I can't park in those spots, and that's a disadvantage right now. You might as well just have the V8, right? So we're just going to keep a catalog of all the caveats and the nuances and the capabilities, and see if the hybrid, and let me know in the comments below if the hybrid is worth it to you. And I think the price differential is somewhere around $6,000. In further videos as we go along on this trip, we will dive into what this vehicle can do. Before we head off, let's reset the trip odometer. Not that it really matters. We're at trip A, so let me just hold down OK. Oh, sorry, I go over here. Hold that down. Okay, now we're at 0 on trip A, and if I change it to trip B, we'll reset that too, because it doesn't matter. And then service is due in so many miles. Okay, so we'll put, this car has 5,200 miles on it, so it's new, and I'm actually going to go through this menu a little bit more for you. This is like our pre-flight. So after reset, we're going to reset that. Okay, so our MPGs have been reset, and our range is 398, so we'll definitely get to Austin on the what we have on the tank. And let's reset the average drive info. Okay, and then we're going to see our energy monitor, which I don't really mind. Okay, now I don't really care for the tachometer not centered. I'm not into uncentered gauges, so I'm going to press this button and it's going to center back. And the ring is a physical ring, but everything behind it is a display, so everything centers out. And now I have a pretty cool display. I also have different drive modes. So right now we're in normal, is indicated right there. And if I turn this knob, we can go into comfort, we can go into eco, and you'll see the tack changes, some of the gauges change. And we can go into sport plus, and then of course, sport, and finally sport plus. We don't need sport plus right now in the parking lot. I'll probably just use comfort. I really don't feel like using eco. I'm not sure if that's a feature on the V8 model. I think the V8 model has fewer choices for that drive mode capability. Heads up display buttons right here, and I can't really see it with my polarized sunglasses, but it's right there. And I think if we change drive modes, it changes as well. No, it does not. Okay, so that's good information to have, I guess. We'll go back down into comfort. Our navigation system and everything here is the typical Lexus sort of setback, I would call it. It's not the intuitive trackpad you have in the Acura RDX, but this basically allows you to kind of get around the screen. It's the only way to get around the screen. This is not a touch screen. There's actually a clear plastic protector piece that goes all the way across, and it even covers this kind of gallery kind of area, which is a really cool effect. But it's all one solid piece, and it's going to be dust free like that, and you can't touch that screen. So what you're left with is this. And the thing is, I don't know what that button ever does. I do know that menu allows me to pull up the icons like a dock on iOS. I mean, sorry, like Mac OS, and then I can change climate. From climate, I can go to seat, and then I can go here and then lower the fan speed on the cooling seat. That's the only way to do it. You'll notice there's no button for the seats anywhere here. So I think that I'd rather have direct buttons than have to go through these menu options to figure out how to turn on the heated seat or the cooling seat. And I don't know if we can do both at the same time. Let's see. Nope, we can't. So we'll just go right back to cooling because it's 94 degrees out. I'm not crazy. All right, we'll go to 1. We can also go over here to concierge, and climate concierge automatically sets the seats for us. And it's based on whatever we have the climate at. So you may just be better off using that setting. It's up to you. We're going to go back to projection. So this is a compatible device, is not connected to Apple Carplay. Shoot, I couldn't read that message in enough time. Apple CarPlay is only available through the USB port. Now there's only a USB port in here. So if we have to pull this back and then slide this back and pull this open, sorry. And we have USB ports, 2 of them here. And then we have a little storage area here for your phone and your cables, but it's very limited in here as far as storage. And then we have another sort of, not really a cup holder situation here, but a divider. And the thing is, when you're driving along, your elbow would fall into that. And so you press this button and it shuts on its own. Very soft close, really cool. And we have like a rest here for the trackpad, which you're not going to use. I do like the location of this shift lever. I kind of wish it was beechwood, like out of a tobacco pipe, and then over time it would darken and change color, and you'd be able to see like the beechwood characteristics of it. I think in this interior that'd be a cool thing to have, because there's no like natural, well, beyond the suede look, there's no natural kind of look in here, and I think beechwood would have been a really cool thing to do. Maybe aftermarket, I don't know, but this is obviously an electronic shifter in the hybrid model. And well, let me get my seatbelt on. Oh, I guess I just tapped this on accident. Let's go back to the menu, and we'll go to the map. Just hit map. We do have a way to do split screen, so we can display the map and then the sound. There's a little Dave Matthews there for you. So when I am playing Pandora, it shows the Pandora song that's playing when I get back in the car, but it doesn't update here. So a lot of the newer cars do update. I guess that's just a thing. Toyota doesn't have the latest headset profile to update the song information as Pandora updates, but whatever. I can easily just change to the next song using this. Just go up and it chooses the next song, but you'll see it doesn't update. The 1975, that's a good one too. So before I get copyright claims on this music here, I'm going to turn it down. Air vents are in great positions. I have two for the passenger, one for myself on the right, and then another one for myself on the left. And we are still on, by the way. That's kind of the advantage of being in the hybrid. I'm giving you this pre-flight. Oh, and now it just turned on by itself. Speak of the devil. All right, I'm going to put my seatbelt on here. It's kind of difficult with one hand, but easy to do in this car. The limited slip diff, the rear wheel steering, and the power, which I'm not quite sure of because on the hybrid system it's a little difficult. 3.5 liter 24 valve V6, 354 total system horsepower. So it doesn't sound very powerful, but as we go along you'll hear it, like the mechanical sound of it. And you know, like, it kind of sounds like it's a CVT transmission, but it's not. It's a multi-stage transmission with steering wheel mounted magnesium paddle shifters. So I don't exactly know what they mean by multi-stage transmission. We're gonna find that out. It does show gears though here, so it's kind of the weird thing. It's not like a it's not a very clearly worded transmission here, and sometimes when you put your foot down it sounds like we're in a CVT. So the first time I drove one at Coda, I was kind of like, what am I in? Like, what is that noise? Well, we'll figure that out when we get on the freeway. Right now we'll get our way over to the freeway. You can see traffic isn't very good right now, so it'll take a while to get to Austin, which is good for you because we're gonna have more to look at. So the experience so far is we put it in reverse, over and up. When you're in reverse, it dings, and you get a backup camera. One of my complaints is there's no button here to activate the camera, and in the menu there's no way to turn the camera on, and there's only a camera for the rear. So when I pull up to a curb, such as this one, and I get really close, I can't see. I just have to kind of guess or look in the reflection of that window over there or the vehicle next to me. So it's not very clear, but we're gonna back up here. We have cross traffic alert and everything else. Yeah, see, it just went off. It's flashing in the window, in the mirror, and then there's the car going by. Okay, we're gonna keep backing up. That beep, that reverse notification beep is really driving me crazy. Because especially when you're hearing all sorts of other beeps and then you have to be patient, it doesn't really help. All right, so close calls. Oh man. So basically what we have here is your typical Dallas shopping center situation with your typical vehicles, and I'd say that this Lexus blends in here quite well. It looks good, gets a lot of attention. This is not like a brand new car for this area, so people really aren't looking at it too hard, but I am pretty thrilled and very pleased to be driving it right now, I'll tell you that. So we'll make a right. And then we'll make another right. Clear around here, very clear. Watch the curbs. I'm sure these 21-inch wheels would cost a lot to repair, so I keep my distance from the curbs. Now you'll notice it's very quiet in here, in comfort mode, pretty quiet. And there is an artificial feed of noise, and I'm fine with that because I'd rather entertain myself than everyone outside the vehicle. So in comfort mode, this is just kind of how it is. We'll just put it into normal, pushing here. Now it says normal down in that bottom corner. Is there a bottom corner of a circle? Can't really tell you that. Finishing my drink here. That's the other thing you just saw when I put my cup in here. It changes the temperature. There's one cup holder, which is ideal because it's just mainly, even though there is a back seat, it's tiny. There's no room back there for much. So there's no cup holder back there either. And there's only another spot right here for a drink. So it is what it is. Now, you're like, well, it's pretty quiet for a sports car. And yeah, you're right. This is a quiet sports car. But when we get on the freeway, it'll open up and I can put my foot down. So we'll just cruise. I don't even think I need to fill this time with talking. I'll just let you experience the car. It handles bumps very well. You'd think that being such a low-profile car and so sporty with huge wheels, it would just be terrible. But I think it's because of this composite material and these large wheels, it actually does soak up the bumps very well. I don't cringe through these roads. It's just normal. It's great. It's a good experience. You'll see the engine's already off, and we constantly go between EV mode and like a hybrid mode. And if you want it to be in EV mode, like right now at 28-ish miles an hour, you would press the EV button down here. However, it will tell me I'm going too fast. So above 28 miles an hour, EV mode deactivated because I'm going too quickly. But when you're slow, it'll start off in EV mode. So you get the indicator right there, EV ready, and all those other things. And it'll know in the morning if the hybrid battery is too low, it'll actually start the engine. But for the most part, I've been starting, and it's been starting up directly into electric mode. So I don't really hear the engine start when I get in the vehicle. So it's not like the V8 would do. The V8 would just, roar to life every time. This does not do that at all. But we are now in the city, just, in these block by block kind of situations, just humming right along, which makes sense if you don't want a lot of attention, especially if it's going to be your daily driver. And some people drive Porsches daily and stuff like that, and this is actually cheaper than a 911. Let's go. Starting off in electric. Here's some bumps. Takes it just fine. I do like this interior. It's very comfortable. Even if the drivers in front of me aren't freaking comfortable. regret not honking my horn at that person, but whatever. The dude abides. So this is in similar vein to the video I did for the Land Rover Discovery diesel. You guys seem to have liked that, so thank you very much. It was a very long video, like an hour and 26 minutes, and everybody loved it. So I'm kind of trying to recreate that same experience here so that you kind of feel like you're still in the vehicle, but it's not really a full road trip because I'm only going to Austin, not completely across Texas. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Tell me if you want more of this kind of stuff, the thorough reviews, rather than quirks and features that other people do. Forgot their name. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we're in normal mode. It's clear. We're just gonna go. And now that we're on the freeway, I think I'll just jump into Sport. And I don't know exactly what's going on between Sport and Sport Plus. I haven't really read that manual yet. It's in the glove box. We do have lane keep as well. Traffic's not that bad, so that's good. I'm trying to get the road and the speedometer for you, but that's proving to be very difficult. The lighting also makes it difficult. And the way these people drive makes it difficult. By the way, visibility is great. And, you know, even behind, looks pretty good. I just like how the dash is very high up, so I feel like I'm totally in a cockpit. Like the situation is that the experience is very dynamic in here. I want to say it's very focused. Everything in here is focused, and that has to deal with the way the four-wheel steering works. And I haven't tried one without the four-wheel steering to be accurate for you. So, I mean, it corners like you're pivoting, and the rotation is awesome. It feels like I'm on the track, or maybe a little bit of oversteer when you're at city speeds. But given how these people are driving today, I kind of just want to get through this. I don't know what's going on up there, but they seem to be in a hurry and then not in a hurry. So, and this car is fast enough that, like, there's a little gap there. We could probably exploit that gap, but there's no point because everyone's braking again. So I'll leave it at this until we get completely open. They're slamming on their brakes again. I think we will move left, but it's too hard to tell yet. Nah, I'm not going to do it yet because of that. So I do notice that there is a delay here from when I put my foot down to when it accelerates, and that's kind of where I have the hesitation right now, pulling out in front of traffic, and I will demonstrate that shortly. Once there's enough room to run in that next lane, I'll put my foot down, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, we are completely stopped now. Okay. Foot down. So it gets up and goes, but there's a slight hesitation between when I get my foot in on it and it makes its gear selection and sends the power down. Whether it's using the electric motors or the engine, we don't really know. We meaning me and you don't really know. So that's just how it is here. It's kind of weird too, having a car with this much attention and holding a camera for you. People looking at me like I'm freaking psycho. or like an influencer, and I'm not an influencer. I'm an actual automotive journalist. I'm accredited. I'm with Texas Auto Writers and Texas Motor Press, so keep that in mind. I am a professional. It takes a lot to get to this point, and I want to thank you for watching my videos and leaving comments and subscribing. It's all very good for me and allows me to share this experience with you. So if there's anything you want to see in my next videos about this car, leave a comment below. I will have this car for a couple more days. Okay, we're gonna go right one lane. There is radar cruise in here, and it does have like lane keep assist and things like that. However, I don't want to turn it on because we're not in stop and go, and these people just driving like assheads. You hear that? How it like holds the gear, and it may sound like it's changing gears or maybe hesitating. That's where I go, is that a CVT? What exactly kind of a transmission is this thing? Because I don't really know what's going on, and it doesn't really have a jerky shift at all. It just kind of blends in, and you just feel like you're moving forward. But it's not throwing me back in my seat. But you will see, if you replay that, the speed is definitely picking up. And there is no analog style speedometer either. I just have a digital readout. As far as I can tell, I can't change that. We're going to enter a tunnel here, so you'll get to see kind of what it looks like at night in advance while we're here downtown. Inside. It's not dark enough yet. Rear visibility is great too. Hopefully that camera, well, you're seeing my actual equipment. You know, when someone's in the blind spot, it's pretty clear to see. I'm actually going to move over one. And I'm going to move over again because they are hard braking. So remember, we're in sport mode. I'm actually going to move one in. I'll take that ramp. And it is holding the gears. It is downshifting a little early, so let's put in Sport Plus. We're facing the sun right now too, so kind of getting the road and the gauges at the same time on this camera. It's working pretty hard. Well, we're going to make this corner. Heading towards Waco. So we're like 33 minutes into this video, and I'm gonna cut it at about an hour, and I'll just cap them at an hour. We'll do multiple videos, and if they're not an hour long or a little shorter, that's fine. We'll do as many as we can. But okay, Dallas. Beautiful city, nice and hot. Crazy thunderstorms once in a while, but yeah. Luckily, the traffic here is much better than it is in Austin. I'll guarantee you that. You'll see that on camera as well. Okay. So Sport Plus has more of a thrust when it downshifts, and you actually do feel a harder shift. The way these people drive today. Let's clear left. So I feel the rear limited slip diff working. It's holding the gears. Oh, this thing sounds a little like an angry little cat. I don't know what it sounds like outside, but inside it's like It's kind of funny. And this is where we go, okay, do you really want the hybrid or do you want the V8? Because the V8 is going to roar, whereas this thing just kind of has a different style sound to it, like an alley cat. And there's nothing wrong with a grungy, you know, crazy alley cat. I think that's actually kind of cool. I think also the design of this car is going to be timeless. It has a look that maybe that new mid-engine Corvette's going to try and copy, but Lexus came out with it first, and hopefully Lexus will carry it for a long time. I think they need to. It's just such a revolutionary design. It's pretty badass. Gimbal's kind of freaking out right now. It's holding the camera a little sideways. Oh, now it's center. You know what? Maybe it's just the road. I think I'm just going so hard through these corners that the gimbal's compensating. Maybe it's just my vision. I'm not looking through the camera to drive, by the way. I'm looking straight ahead at the road. You are looking through the camera, not me. I don't even know what the once in a while I glance to see what the camera's looking at, but I'm not really paying attention. Look, even in Sport Plus, the engine shuts off. Now it's back on. I'm not going to go for a fuel economy run down to Austin, but you know, we'll see what it gauges, what it returns back, what the report looks like. I didn't set the report on the eco thing here. There is a way to do that, but when there's less traffic, I'll pull that up. Probably in the second video. Give you something to talk about. But when I mean focused, I mean this thing is just so easy with staying in the lane. And it feels like when I first got in it, I was like, is there a tire in the rear that's low? Because it feels like almost like squirmy or squirrely, but it isn't. And that's just kind of like the way this four-wheel steering works. See, this is why I like Dallas more than Austin. These people just haul ass. Again, the gimbal looks crooked, but it could just be G-forces. I could pull up G-force if I move that over there. We're in 10th gear. There's a sway warning, so if I drive too long, we'll see if that happens. I doubt it. The rear wing is up, obviously. And we're averaging 19.1. Energy monitor, hybrid system. There it is, G-force. So push OK to change. There we go. And then we're gonna reset. There we go. So now I should have reset that earlier. I didn't realize there was a way to do that, but we'll have our G-forces for this trip recorded, and we'll have some fun here. Every city has their own driving style or their own driving habit, and it's all unique. You know, you just have to go with the flow. nerve-wracking sometimes, and other times you can't figure it out. Like you go, I don't understand. It really does depend on the day or the day of the month. Jeez. You know, the hybrid system seems like the engine's off, engine's on. Like there's an inconsistency to the experience as far as like if I was to take this on the track, which I have done, you kind of hear like on off, on off, on off, even in Sport Plus. And there's no way to defeat the hybrid system. I haven't been able to turn it off. There aren't very many buttons in here. Actually, there isn't even a parking brake button. There's just a park button, but no button for the brake. There are no brakes. Although the brakes do set when you put it in park. It's just like, well, that's kind of weird. Like I can't set the brake. And that's an experience. I've never seen that in a car before. Not that anyone ever actually sets the brakes. It's very rare actually in an automatic for someone to do that. I feel like we need to change lanes to get moving, but again, on this road with this rugged, jagged concrete, you can see how the other cars are moving. We're also getting some of these bumps. We're not getting tossed around that much. Even with the camera on the gimbal, you can hear it in here. There's road noise, but we're not hearing over the expansion joints like massive rattles in here. There's nothing going on in here. It's totally held down and nailed together, and that's the beginning of a good sign. And that starts with the suspension, and then it goes to build quality after that. You know, so in the city, this might prove to be a better choice for you, but on the open highway, like when we're doing a GT kind of run here, like, is that acceptable? Would you rather have that V8? We do have paddles, I can control that. So I can just knock it down here into manual mode. That's what that M is. So it's like to the right and back. And not sure how you go from manual to drive though without getting into neutral, which is weird. And then hold is brake hold. Hold holds the brakes. It doesn't do the other type of hold I was thinking of, which is like, I guess you could use it as a parking brake. Maybe it's integrated into one piece. I don't know. I'll have to read the manual again. There's some stuff where you should be able to get into a vehicle and not have to read the manual. And so far, there are a few things where we need to pull it out and, you know, reference something. I'm sure once we understand it, we'll never have any confusion. But do you really want a really complicated car that you can't valet? Put it in a normal mode now. Let you know what this is like in your typical daily commute in South Dallas. Not that you would commute from South Dallas, but we're crossing Interstate 20. You could take that and go west and head towards California. It turns into Interstate 10, or you can go east and end up in all the way in South Carolina. Actually, I used to take this all the time between my cross-country trips. And then, of course, we're on 35, so now we're going to end up in Austin. And 45 would take you down to Houston. So getting around Texas requires a vehicle. I wouldn't do it via bus or fly. Just get in your car. It's 3 hours. You got to get in the right car, that's all. You can tell some people here are in the right car, some aren't. And as far as like the speed limit here is 75, although it says 65 there in the navigation. That actually might be 65 here. What am I thinking? I usually go the speed of traffic anyway. No need to hold anybody up, even though I am in the left lane. It's only because there's no need to get in that lane. That's weird. If I turn my... I can see in the mirror. There we go. I guess the camera just has to be tilted back further. So why they chose the V6 instead of a V8 to pair with the hybrid, I don't know. And this is like, you know, you can get a performance hybrid. I don't think this qualifies as one of those performance hybrids. What kind of hybrid is Toyota aiming for here? I think they're just aiming for the best hybrid, the most exciting hybrid. And it's working. I mean, I first got it and I thought, yeah, you know, I'm gonna need some time with it to see if it's just better than the V8. And now that I've been in it for like 24 hours, I'm thinking, yeah, I could see it has merits in places like Dallas, or we'll find out how it is in Austin when it comes to daily driving. But deep down inside, I would probably be more excited every day if it was a V8 non-hybrid, which ironically is less expensive. What I'll do is set the cruise. You just hit set. Whoops, turn it on, and then hit set. And now it's going to auto steer. It centers to the lane. You can change your distance. You can update your speed, holding it down. So it does all sorts of things. I like radar cruise in stop and go traffic. Let's move that tachometer over. There we go. I don't necessarily like radar cruise on the freeway like this, because we just end up inheriting that person's driving style, and I don't need to maintain an exact gap to that person's driving style. I detest how people in front of me drive most of the time, and the last thing I want to do is latch on to what they're doing. It's just not sensible to me. Climate control display is okay. I really don't like that 80s look of the LCD there. I prefer like what they did in the LS. But I mean, the compact format in here is okay. If they were to swap that air vent with that display and do the LS style up top and then put the air vent below, I'd be better off, I think. But it's not a complaint. I'm sure if they were going to update it, that would be a good thing to do, if they're listening. It's weird too to see how the TAC operates in radar cruise mode, because it's a lot smoother. It knows how it's going to behave when it sees the vehicles, and it's making the decisions as far as acceleration. So that guy comes in, our TAC drops to 1, and it slowly raises, and our speed has already dropped. You'll notice there's no wind noise in here either. A lot of the new cars are pretty silent. We hear a lot of the road. You know, those are the tires on the concrete here. It is a beautiful day out. Hopefully you can see the heads up rather than the gauges below. It's still too bright out to pull everything in. But I do have fully charged equipment, so we should be able to get pretty good coverage here. I don't know what time we left, but hopefully you'll take note of that. It's usually about 3 hours door to door between Austin and Dallas. If we do the speed limit, which we're pretty much doing. Speed limit's 70. And what'll happen is these 3 lanes will combine down to 2, and then it'll be another construction zone, and then it finally opens up. And then when it opens up, we'll open this puppy up, okay? So we'll probably do that in a part 2 video. So stay tuned for that, because there's no point making you wait this long. What I'll do, though, is show you I'm right. See, they're combining lanes now. Everyone starts slowing down. Good thing, though, is with the radar cruise, it just makes this effortless. And that's any vehicle that has it. You just let it do the slowing down and the adjustments of the speed, and that reduces your fatigue. So by the time you get to your destination, you're not worn out. See? Cop. I knew it. There would have been no point opening this puppy up just yet. So it's kind of like we knew it. Welcome to Texas. They're all stopping up there. You see the lights just on the crest. Because there's another cop. I knew it. And it's not really a trap. I mean, they're making sure you're not crazy in construction zone like this, because you don't need to race to the pinch point of 3 lanes combining into 2. Like, what's the point? Wait till when it opens up, then you can just head out, like get away from people. And I know I'm slow being passed by everybody, but there's a reason for this. This camera angle better? This kind of is a weird one. Yeah, we're definitely out of the city now. That didn't take long at all, did it? Texas is beautiful most of the time. I think Texas is also a Native American word for under construction, because there seems to be just construction everywhere all the time. All right, I'm gonna log off right now. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be in like half an hour maybe, where we'll open it up. I promise you that'll be the first thing I do. And then we'll end up in Waco. So, yeah. Give it some time.